welcome to May the 4th be with you. And it's also known as Star Wars Day. So I know we're technically done with school, unless you're using the next couple weeks to catch up on things. But I really couldn't let today go by, and maybe even tomorrow, because it's Cinco de Mayo. We have tacos, right? So I really can't let these 2 days go by without talking about them and maybe sharing some stories and some fun things. And y'all know I love some Star Wars, okay? Got my shirt on today. I even did a virtual 5K Star Wars with Baby Yoda. I got a cool Baby Yoda shirt. And I went through, most of my stuff is at school. Y'all know the whole media center this year was all Star Wars stuff. And I loved it. And I really don't want to take it down. Maybe we should make that the theme next year too. Who knows, okay? But I rummaged through our house and I looked for some Star Wars things. And I must say, one of my most favorite Star Wars things ever is Chewie. And our Chewie mask, okay? So the way he works is you just put your mouth in, and when you open and close your jaw, and something that's so neat about Chewie, you know he's a Wookiee, right? And we don't know how to speak Wookiee, but you know Han Solo learned because he hung out with Chewie for so long, but you knew what Chewie was thinking and feeling and his emotions by how he acted, right? So that's something that I always thought was so cool about Chewbacca, and I really like Chewbacca for that. We also have, what kind of collection is complete without a lightsaber?
The Resistance sent me.
This is Rey's lightsaber. They're so much fun to play with. Alright, so, Rey feels the Force, okay? So, you know something cool? I think it's on my bucket list. I don't know that I'll ever do it. There's things way above it. But how cool, they do lightsaber lessons. Kind of like how you have fencing, sword fighting. They have lightsaber fighting. And you can go do these classes and competitions. Too cool, right? And then the last thing is we have a super cool Millennium Falcon at our house. He opens up and there's Chewbacca in there and R2-D2 and Han and all kinds of fun stuff. And he says all kinds of neat things.
Han Solo. I'm captain of the Millennium Falcon.
So there's Han. And it makes all kinds of
Check the
sounds.
deflector shield.
Uh-oh. Gotta get up the deflector shields. Getting shot at. But he's super fun. So those are three of our fun things we still have at the house. A ton of stuff I took to school this year. But I thought instead of an actual book that I read to you, I would do what you call like a book talk, or we call them book walks sometimes, a book preview. And I have 3 stories here. Here's 2 of them. We have a Lego Star Wars, the official Force training manual. Then we have Princess Leia. These are called backstories. They're really cool. It's a chapter book. Love this. And then a super neat one called Star Wars Ships of the Galaxy. And it shows the dark side ships or the Imperial ships, and then we have the Rebels or the Resistance ships too, okay? We'll start, I'll read a few pages of this silly little cute one. But you know, Lego's always kind of funny. And so this one uses Rey as the narrator. And she goes through and kind of explains some of the basics about Star Wars. Hi, my name is Rey, and I will be your guide in the way... let me start again. Hi, my name is Rey, and I will be your guide in the ways of the Force. I'm a member of the Resistance. I'm a Force user, and I ride a speeder that looks like a floating popsicle. Anyway, the Force. Let's learn about it. Alright, so I can already tell it's going to be a little bit silly because she says her speedster, her speeder looks like a popsicle. The Force is an energy field that connects every living thing in the galaxy. It's the one thing that everyone has in common. Well, that and a love of pizza. Some beings are Force sensitive and can use the Force to perform incredible feats like lifting heavy objects with their mind. The Jedi use the light side of the Force. The Sith use the dark side. So there she is on her popsicle speeder. She talks about lightsabers. There's Emperor Papa. Oh my gosh, what's his name? Starts with a P. We'll get to it in just a second. Lightsabers are commonly associated with the Jedi, the Sith, and folks who collect glow sticks. Get it, glow sticks, because they glow. A brief lightsaber lesson. They're powered by kyber crystals, which look like rock candy, but are not really rock candy. They can be useful in deflecting blaster bolts, absorbing Force lightning, and cutting the crusts off sandwiches. I don't think that's what Luke and Obi-Wan Kenobi use their lightsabers for. Now the lightsaber hilts, or the handles down here at the bottom, they're made of metal, but sometimes they're made of wood, bone, or more kyber crystals. All right. There's the light side of the Force, or also known as the glass half full side. So she explains how they use the Force for good things. They have well intentions for using the Force. Then there's the dark side, the no fun side. The dark side of the Force is all about betrayal and conquest and other things that quite honestly seem like they involve too much sneaking up behind people. There he is again. Oh, y'all, it's driving me crazy. So the Jedi, we know the Jedi are the ones who use the light side of the Force, right? And Obi-Wan Kenobi was a Jedi. It goes through and talks about all the Jedis, and the most amazing Jedi of all, everybody, Yoda. This, of course, is my opinion, right? You might think Luke Skywalker's the greatest one. We all have our own that we like the best. Let's see here. Palpatine, that's his name. Okay, now we're on the dark side. Sorry, it was driving me crazy. I was going to have to find that really bad guy's name. But we have the Sith, and they're the dark side users. All right, so Palpatine is really bad. There's Darth Maul, and then of course the most famous Sith Lord was Darth Vader. And of course we know him for saying, "Luke, I am your father," right? We know that line very well. One of the most famous. And then one of the most famous Sith Lords now at this time, or one of the bad guys, is Kylo Ren. He, in the last series that just finished, he ends up being bad. And if you remember, he is the son of Princess Leia and Han Solo, right? His name was Ben Solo. But it goes on, and at the end, towards the end, it's got cool things like word searches, riddles, trivia questions, funny little sayings, different things like that. So if you ever see a book like this at our book fair in the future, you might like to pick that one up, okay? And speaking of our book fair, it is going on. It was last week and it's this week too, okay? So you can still shop for books for our book fair. It's a virtual book fair, and I emailed that link last week to your parents, and I'll email it again this week. Cool book here. I told you a second ago it's a chapter book, and I think it's got 10 different chapters about Princess Leia, and it kind of gives her background, who she is, how, she began in life. It was kind of sad in a way because she was orphaned. If you don't know this could be a spoiler alert, but Padme Amidala was her mother, and then Darth Vader was her father. All right, but before Darth Vader became Darth Vader, he was, anybody know? Anakin Skywalker, okay? So Anakin and Padme had Princess Leia and her twin brother, who was Luke, all right? But Padme dies shortly after she gives birth to Luke and Leia, and so the Organas, if you can see them, they raise Princess Leia, okay? But she ends up knowing all these folks very well. Jabba the Hutt kind of like traps her and she gets stuck with him. Han and her end up getting married and they have Kylo Ren or Ben Solo. Okay. Another cool thing about this book is what you call a chronology, or we call them timelines sometimes, but it talks about all the big events that happened and had an effect in Leia's life. Okay. So it goes on and talks about her and how she grew up, and she, you know, eventually was a spy when we see her with the buns, the infamous Leia buns. She was a senator, but she was also working secretly for the rebels, the resistance. And she went on to become a fighter, and then eventually, as we know her in the last series, she becomes General Organa. Where is it? There's a cool picture of her as General. I might have already passed it. That's one of them. As she got older, General Leia. And she's kind of in charge of everything. Alright, and she is with Han and their baby Ben, who becomes Kylo Ren. So it's a real cool story that just focuses on Princess Leia. So if you see those, you might like them. And I know this is getting kind of long, but cool book here. You know, if you were to think that any of this was real, it is all fiction, correct? It was just made up. George Lucas created the whole cool thing, and it's fiction, okay? But when you look at this book, you would almost feel like it's nonfiction in a way. So it goes through and it has pictures. You almost think they're photographs, but that's not real. It's just from the movie, okay? So it goes through and shows pictures of resistance ships, imperial ships, and it gives you kind of like specs or statistics, info about them, and gives you details. And it goes through and does it for lots and lots of them. And then at the end, my most favorite part of this book, one reason why I bought it and liked it, was the back here. Alright, it goes through and it tells you, like, of course, the best ship in the whole galaxy, the Millennium Falcon. And you open it up and there's a cool blueprint of it. The light's shining on me. There we go. So you can see this really cool blueprint. Alright, and I see this symbol right here that lets me know it's a rebel ship or resistance ship. Then we open up. We have Kylo Ren's command ship. And I know that is an Imperial logo, so that's the dark side. A Star Destroyer, that's what Darth Vader went around on, all the dark side. They were like huge cities inside. They were so ginormous. So I'm opening up and I see its blueprint. Then here we have an X-Wing fighter. These were the Rebel fighters. This is what Luke Skywalker flew. He piloted the X-Wings. There's their blueprint. Then we have TIE fighters. This is what the dark side used. They were like no joke. Darth Vader flew one. Okay. Then there's a TIE bomber. Yikes. And there's the blueprint for the TIE fighter. And then here we have the blueprint for the TIE bomber. Alright, but it's really cool. If I tilt it up too much, it's going to close them. But I think that's so cool looking and how it opens up and folds up and you can see each one there. But very fun. I have to fold them back the exact same way. And like I said, all three of these books came from our book fair. So we always have super cool Star Wars books at our book fair. And there's even some cool ones online, okay? Alright guys, tomorrow might be our last story time for the year. Oh, so sad, but I've loved doing these with y'all and sharing them with you. But like I said, I couldn't let today go by or tomorrow, which is Cinco de Mayo, okay? So we'll come back together tomorrow, talk about Cinco de Mayo, read a fun story, and we'll see you soon. Bye!